So I'm curious to learn a little bit more about how earlier when we were chatting before recording this, you mentioned that sometimes when people cut back on things like carbs, their biochemistry actually makes them want carbs more. It makes them crave the carbs. So how does hypnosis help to curtail that or help people to stay on track with their progress?
Okay, so what you're alluding to is there's two things that happen. One is uh, the an increase in serotonin levels makes you feel good, and it relieves depression, et cetera, et cetera. And a big sugar load will increase your serotonin levels, and it does that in a roundabout way, in that it tends to help the blood-brain barrier open up to L-tryptophan so that more of that gets into the brain, and then you make serotonin.
Hmm.
And so what happens is carbs can be addictive for that reason, because every time you eat them, you feel good. So that when you're feeling bad, you know that if you eat, you're going to feel better.
So people are actually self-medicating by eating carbs, is
Yes,
what you're saying.
yes, that's exactly right. They're self-medicating. Well, um, that produces a problem with increased insulin levels, and that increases the accumulation of fat, and that increases inflammation in the body and leads to many other health problems, et cetera, et cetera. And so, with hypnosis, you can curb the behavior, and you do have to add in a little bit of nutrition, be knowledgeable about nutrition. So when somebody is coming off of carbs, they're going to it's just like they're coming out of an addiction they stop using. So the other side of that is dopamine. With stimulation, repeated stimulation from sugar or from drugs or whatever, if you stimulate dopamine repeatedly, then the dopamine receptors get ramped up. Then when you quit the behavior, your dopamine receptors are not filled up, and you're in a low dopamine state, and that doesn't feel good. That's depressing, and you lose energy, et cetera, et cetera. The opposite that, though, is when you increase dopamine, then you feel good. That's a feel good hormone, and all. And so you want to induce a behavior that allows for a person to cut out carbs and to maintain their dopamine levels. Okay, so the other way that you can raise serotonin and dopamine levels is by changing state. The happy states are associated with higher dopamine and higher uh, uh, serotonin levels. And so if you can through hypnosis and NLP raise the person's state so that they are producing those things and they're not underproducing them, then you can get them through a time of cutting out whatever it is, sugar or whatever they're addicted to, without going into the feeling of cravings.
So it's a natural, healthy way to increase those happy chemicals so that their body can adjust and adapt to the new diet that they're
Yes,
following.
yes.